So, one of the favorite books that my sons and I enjoyed reading and listening to when they were younger was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, followed up also by Charlie and the Glass Elevator, which was admittedly a little strange, not quite the well-rounded story as the Chocolate Factory was. I came across a little ditty today about one of the early drafts that was written before the final edition. As you know, an author is not bound to keep his story exactly the same before he, before he calls it a completed story. So, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. The story was originally called Charlie's Chocolate Boy. Charlie found himself trapped within a life-size chocolate mold as the chocolate was poured in. He was then taken to Mr. Wonka's mansion as a giant chocolate gift for his son. While there, Charlie was able to see out of the mold, but couldn't move, and he witnessed a robbery at the mansion. The next morning, he was freed and told Mr. Wonka everything, and in return, Wonka gave him a sweet shop to run. In later drafts, the sweet shop became a factory, and the story of the mold and the robbery were taken out. So what does this teach us about the story behind well-known stories, and what does that have to do with ideation? Well, there are many great precursor stories where there's a finished work that is known, in this case, pretty much in the English-speaking world, but in other cases of books that have been around for centuries, works that have been that are known throughout the entire world. But it's not always the case that the edition that we have was the final edition. Obviously, and I don't just mean in small little details, small little words, but sometimes plots entirely got changed, major characters got taken out or inserted, and so there's for people who have enjoyed a certain work of fiction, if you come, walking along with a article about or the early drafts of their favorite novel, their favorite story, or their favorite author, how it was that they went about writing this book, or what they were thinking of when they were writing this book. And then you've got to, because you've got a fan base for the author, a fan base for that particular work, and you're providing some biographical information about the book itself or the work itself, and perhaps even biographical information about the author, if they left behind notes about what they were doing when they went through this period of writing, or perhaps they're alive. So you find some author that struck gold on their first work, and while they were writing that work, they were working as a third shift laborer, in a factory or something like that, and barely had enough money to put food on the table. And then they came home and they got the kids off to school, and they sat down and they were typing away at this novel, and they pretty much had one shot, at least that was their perspective, one shot to make it big, and before they were going to give up their dreams of writing. At any rate, you find out this information because this person's alive, and you meet them, or perhaps they're dead, and you uncover these sources. The sources might be hard to come about for a book like this or an article like this, but the fan base is already there. If you pick a book that's well regarded, or pick a book that's widely read, or an author that's widely read, if you choose wisely, there's definitely an article there if you can find out something interesting. Hey, look, I printed it out, and here I am talking to you about Charlie and the Chocolate Boy. Charlie gets coated, encased in chocolate, and is given as a gift to Mr. Wonka's son. Yeah, now that's a different kind of story. It might not be worthy of an entire book to write about that, but it certainly does make for an interesting article. So that's your ideation tip for today.